Now, people want to say, you just want to talk about conspiracies and things. Shut up. This is a service to the people. Because they're always taken advantage of. They're always misinformed. Especially on things like this. When people who were trying to give back to the community. You see here, before his death, Nipsey Hussle was trying to buy back his hood. The next day, before he got shot, he was going to have a meeting to stop gang violence. Now, he's just one guy, but he was trying to make a difference in a system that pretends to want to make a difference, but then they just agitate situations to cause division so they can just control people. And even people who say they from the streets would come over and say, you're just talking about outside stuff. You're not from there. We know what happened. Oh, okay. You know what happened? You know what's going on, don't you? Huh? Yeah, well, if you were so smart, why you keep getting used like a tool? Why do you keep killing your own people? The watch truce was the right direction. Did you keep the direction? What do you have to say about things like that? Are you pushing towards that? Because if you're not, get out of my face. Because you're part of the problem. And I don't think you're going to come over to help people in the way Nipsey tried to help people. And those in the past tried to help people. And then magically lose their life. L.A. is an area where some screwed up things were happening with the help of the government. Now, the government sounds like a generic term, but we all know what the government is, don't we? Elements within the government. We all know what the FBI is. And then, we must also address that people would come here and say, he was killed by his own kind. Look at him trying to give back to the hood, and the hood killed him. A Crip, too. He was just an old gangbanger. That's all he was. Oh, you want to say Nipsey was just a gang member. But look what he was doing. Every time I saw him, for the most part, was some type of positive thing, trying to give some insight. Showing people, okay, this is the way we do it. Entrepreneur. Hey, look, we can make money the legal way, is what he was showing. He was an example. He did work with people in other gangs. That's an example. But the way you want to highlight things is he was just a good for nothing. Just another gang member. Oh yeah, I've had comments come at me that way. Now, of course, they've been blocked because they got bad intentions. But I just want you to be aware of that's what people trying to say. And that's what the system wants. When we're talking about that trick joker suspect who was a Crip, who is believed to be an informant, you must understand that he can't be trusted. Informants can't be trusted, especially knowing the history of informants. Would you like a refresher on what informants did in L.A.?
Will Heaton used to meet me in different places. You know, Will Heaton, that was one of my supervising agents. There is a certain bar in the Los Angeles area where people into black cultural things met. And Will Heaton used to meet me there. And he would go into very long and tiring conversations with some very articulate brothers about culture, African culture, and Afro-American culture.
Tell me about some of the cultural organizations that you infiltrated and what you did.
PASLA, Mafunde, Watts Writers Workshop, which they have.
The Watts Writers Workshop?
Yes. Watts Writers Workshop, which was one of the oldest established black writers workshop.
That place was burned down.
Yeah. The Bureau had it burnt down.
How do you know that?
I know because I participated. I did the arson.
You burned down the arthritis?
Yes.
Why did they want it to go?
At the time, funding had been cut to the workshop, had been cut out, but it looked like there was a possibility of a grant being given back to the workshop. And if there was no theater, there would be no grant.
How did you do it?
2 cans of kerosene, a Purex bottle, gasoline, and a flare, highway flare.
Why didn't you use more sophisticated stuff?
Oh, no. No. You're never overly sophisticated. It's too obvious. This way you make it look like, maybe somebody in the neighborhood that got kicked out of theater at one time got mad and came and burned the damn theater up, that kind of thing.
Uh-oh. Here come the person from the streets saying, you don't know, you wasn't there, you don't know. Oh, right. You're the one who ain't doing nothing. You're the one doing what the system wants you to do, killing your own people. Again, why are we back at this again? Hey, don't we remember what happened with Ricky Ross? Don't we remember the CIA helping push drugs in L.A., getting the people all drugged out? What were you doing during that time? Again, shows how the system works to oppress the people, especially in L.A., when you had people strung out on the drugs. There were centers that were opened up to treat the people. And what did the system do? They tried to shut down, they did shut down the treatment centers for the people who were addicted to the drugs. And then you even had Operation Hammer going out there killing people who were just doing the drugs. That's on record. But, this just little gangs. The government will have no business in that type of stuff. Oh, okay. Well, you disrespectful joker. Why don't you tell that to all the families of the Black Panthers? People would like to say it's a personal dispute. Okay. But then that would be forgetting the unsolved murder of Tupac and what Frank Alexander said about Orlando Anderson. He said that Death Row paid Orlando Anderson to take the beating. And even we had Russell Poole, the detective, saying they had that fight with Orlando Anderson to be on the security camera so then they can blame it on the Crips. And you have to understand that the way the system does things is they use psychological profiles. So they watch how you react in certain situations, and then they go, okay, so if we do this and that, he's going to do this. So when he does that, we're going to then end up shooting him or setting him up and saying that he attacked the person. What I'm saying here is they knew Tupac would respond to that specific situation. And then when he did, they made it seem like, oh, this is just a gang dispute. So then when he gets shot, it's going to say, oh, this was all about gang banging, which would go against what he was trying to accomplish. This is a guy who worked with the Black Panthers. He was a member of the Black Panthers, a leader, Tupac was, and he worked with Mutulu Shakur, and he worked with many others in bringing peace and politicizing the gangs. So the way he went out was, oh, dang, he got killed by the very own people he was trying to help. Dang, guess you can't help them. It's that type of story. And in this Nipsey situation, it's the same type. Killed by your own people. They must not be able to be helped. And what we've seen, or what I showed you, what an informant actually told you what happens, is there's more thought to what they are doing to destroy people trying to unify. You say, oh, no. It's not that simple. You make it seem like somebody just did it in the neighborhood. You don't make it too elaborate. And I wish you would come over here and try to say, no, we know what happened with Tupac. Oh, how come you ain't say nothing then, Joker? You know how many people died that was involved with that whole Tupac situation? You know, Orlando Anderson was killed, no longer around, so he can't even tell you what really happened. He can't tell you if Death Row paid him or not. Death Row, who had agents all up in there. This is stuff y'all need to understand, or this is stuff they don't tell you. People got so much to say, but I bet you won't say nothing about this. The Tupac cover-up still going on. The channels, government disinfo channels, COINTELPRO, who are putting out lies, whole channel dedicated to saying that Tupac faked his death, and then using fake accounts to make comments agreeing with the liar in the video. The U.S. government troll army. None of y'all say nothing about that. But you want to, oh, shut up. You didn't say nothing about Tupac, and now they're doing it to Nipsey. Now they're saying that he faked his death. Government, COINTELPRO, disinfo accounts. You don't say nothing, and it's happening right now, and in the comment section, they're agreeing with it. So, at the very least, that is a government operation going on. The cover-up continuation. Because instead of it being Tupac was killed by the government, oh, no, he faked his death, is what they're saying. You know who else is participating in that right now? The new Death Row Records. Pushing that COINTELPRO disinfo. So like I said, they had agents in Death Row, and now they're pushing COINTELPRO disinfo to this very day. But we don't want to talk about that, right? Oh, you in the streets, but you don't want to mention that though, right? Wait a minute, you got something to say? Oh, it was only a gang member. Oh, but you don't say nothing about that though, do you? Oh, you're in the news. You want to talk about conspiracy? Oh, but you don't say nothing about that, do you? You just prop it up and say, oh, look at the flat earthers. And they be pushing flat earth disinfo too. COINTELPRO.
Redsilverj, all I gotta say.